The mountain has so many sounds.
Cousin of the brother, he marry in a very lower caste. Now also he not allowed to go home.
Hey guys, so while in Nepal, I did a 2.5 day, 55-kilometer hike starting from Sundarijal. Sundarijal is a 50 to 60-minute drive from Kathmandu, the capital and where international travelers all fly into. From Sundarijal, we hiked to Chisopani on day 1, then Nagarkot on day 2, and in Changunaryan Temple on day 3. I will give a little more detail about each day as the video goes. You washing clothes?
Nice cap, nice.
Thank you. The mountain has so many sounds. It's a very nice guest house. Here's our view from our hotel. Here's some people here. Hello. We're having vegetable pakora, they call it. Pakalda or pakora? What's the difference, pakora and pakalda?
Pakoda is original name is the pakoda.
Okay. The real name.
The sounds is the pakoda, something like that.
Yeah, okay. It's quite good. Yeah, it reminds me of vegetable tempura from Japan too. Or maybe Japan got it from India or something, yeah. Incredibly good. So this is the type of dorms I've been staying at. Some are a little worse, some are a little better. This one is a little nicer, mainly because the walls are painted and such. There hasn't been really air conditioning, but many have a large ceiling fan. This one doesn't have one, but that might be because we are in the mountains where it's quite cool. Other dorms I've stayed at, like in Kushnagar, where Buddha died, the walls weren't painted, nor did they have sheets or pillow covers. But then again, that was a temple that we were staying, and up until we had arrived, they had been closed for COVID. Here's the bathroom. It's a wet bath, which can be the worst thing for Westerners to get used to. 70% of the time, the toilets haven't flushed well. And so you get a little bucket like that to flush down everything. The showers may or may not have hot water. They told me to run the water for 5 minutes and hot water should come out. We'll see. I got the hotel special. Usually I crave dal, but I tried something different. So dal I'm referring to is the most popular Nepalese dish. I had it almost every meal so far, and I will talk about it later. But tonight I had here a large fried vegetable egg roll, French fries next to that. French fries are so good in Nepal because they are from fresh cut potatoes that were never frozen. There was also some lightly marinated veggies, regular rice, and buttered rice. Buttered rice was very tasty here. I never had it before, only recently heard from a Korean YouTuber how it was such a great childhood dish she reminisced about. I am not sure if I was so hungry, but it tasted so great, and the butter must have been from ghee, which is fresh clarified butter milked fresh from a cow, as it had no processed taste at all that I usually detect in butter from American supermarkets. I met this couple. Is that okay? Wave. Hey, what's his name? Your dad, and he's
Richard. Okay?
what?
Richard.
Oh, Richard. Okay.
Somebody
Richard. Okay. And they're from the Czech Republic, and yeah, just having a great conversation. They've been trekking for almost 2 weeks. It turned out to be a splendid night under the bright stars, with mostly great intelligent conversation. Although after a few beers, this included me asking obnoxious questions. If you were a Brahmin, but you lost all your money on stocks,
Okay.
what happens then? Brahmin, the highest, right? Brahmin is highest?
Yes.
What?
But what if you're dirt poor? Brahmin is the highest.
First in his for many years again he eat the cow meat, so that's why not allowed the Brahmin.
Really?
So in Nepal,
In a
not
previous
allowed to eat
generation,
cow.
they ate cow.
Yes.
Whoa. Although Nepal is known for its beautiful landscapes, most tourists are really unaware of its underlying socio-economic issues.
I mean, it's my third time in Nepal and I didn't even know about the caste system.
Cousin of the brother marry in a very lower caste. Now also he not allowed to go home.
Soon, however, our conversation turned to our hopes and dreams for this generation and future generations.
The study is nursing. It's around 1 year, something like that.
Wow. And people got used to it during communism. And but I don't believe in the system. Maybe in 20-30 years it will be very different.
Maybe when my son is get some college, does like a job, something like that.
What?
Maybe after that he marry and then he take some his wife, and after that the children, and then he call and father and mother
Wow.
come to Australia.
That's chai tea. This is the hotel we're eating at. They struggled. They opened right 2 years ago, right during COVID. Hi. This is one of the better rooms I got. This is in Nagarkot. Nagarkot. After a full day's hiking. Again, the bathroom is a wet bath, and that's what most Westerners could not get used to. This toilet actually works. I had to fumble around to get the hot water to work. There's an on switch there you have to turn on. Okay, but it didn't work, and it was scalding hot. I had to control the temp that way. Again, Westerners cannot get used to a wet bath. But this is one of the better rooms. Here's the bed. They gave you a kettle here, a little hot water boiler. And the view is fantastic. It really sucks. It's really cloudy, it's hard to capture on camera, but it's really nice view actually. Yeah, it's just hard to capture on camera how nice the view is. You can see houses in the background there. Oh, sorry, my YouTube is... I'm playing Jay Wonders Out on YouTube. That's what you hear in the background. Yeah, pretty nice view. Again, the hotel I'm staying at is Hotel Viewpoint Nagarkot. You can see the restaurant across the way there. We sat there. Once we got here, I did have a beer here at around 2:30 p.m. I'm gonna go have, and then I went to take a nap. I am gonna go have another drink at about 5 p.m. It's very clear. I guess it's not quite like Greek rakeb, their alcohol rocket fuel. So this is dal, which is by far the most popular Nepalese dish. It really is just lentil soup, as you see in that top metal bowl. And sometimes it's made so thick it's more like a curry, which we saw more in India. It's usually accompanied by a couple of veggies or several veggies, as at nicer restaurants. That becomes sort of like a Korean banchan. We had it at almost every meal, and it's very tasty, almost addictive, because you often pour it over the rice and it feels fresh, light, and healthy to eat. I have never seen Nepalese go to a restaurant, in fact, and order anything else, even though there are several other items on the menu. My guide agreed this was very possible, as he himself had it at every meal I saw him at. There is also a pleasure and possibly taste sensation to eating the rice with dal poured over it with your hands. Maybe kind of like how Japanese prefer to eat sushi with their hands, citing how the food comes off their fingers onto their taste buds a certain way. Or maybe like how wine needs a certain type of glass. Under the weather this morning, and it sucks because I have to take a COVID test later to get on the plane, but we'll see how this goes. I have a sniffle, yeah, but I don't have any sore throat. It's so ugly.
Taiwan. Taiwan like Nepal, like Ukraine. All the same.
Just gonna stand there and watch me.
Hey again everyone, so for the rest of this video I will just talk about things you might be wondering about hiking in Nepal. So you don't need to hire a guide as I did. It is very possible to follow yourself on Google Maps, or there's quite a few Nepal hiking apps too where the trail is laid out for you on a map and you follow yourself along the trail on a GPS dot. And usually I wouldn't have a guide, partly to save money, also to take my time filming, and also just to be independent. However, you saw we passed a military barrack there. There's actually several of these laid out throughout the trail, and they check your ticket and likely search your stuff looking for professional grade camera equipment, because if you film professionally, you need a license or pay some kind of permit. And they're also looking for drones of a certain size and such, and having a guide might mitigate this. My drone was the smallest size possible, but I didn't want to take a chance with these guys. That Czech Republic couple you saw that I met in Chisopani, they didn't have a guide and said they had their stuff thoroughly searched and was questioned about having drones, even though they clearly didn't have one. I was never searched, even though they clearly could see my tripod. I think having a guide mitigates this because the army men might possibly feel that I at least paid a Nepalese person and helped their economy. I'm not sure that's the reason though. Now, I didn't ask my guide to wait for me while I film, nor did I ask him to help me film. And mostly that's just to keep the trail pace, also not to waste his time as a courtesy to him, and make sure we didn't arrive at the hotel too late. So I was running quite a bit to get things on film while catching up with him. So every time you see me running, he had gotten too far ahead of me. So I was running to get the shot, then I had to run back to get the tripod, then run forward again to catch up to him. So how much was it to do all this? I negotiated very aggressively at the Yakety Yak hostel where I stayed in Kathmandu. And for 2 nights and 3 days hiking, including transfer to the start point, the guide, all meals and hotels, it was only $205 US dollars. Plus I tipped the guide about 15% afterward, and everyone at the hostel told me this was actually quite generous. Of course, at a hostel, the travel arrangement they make is often quite cheaper than at a nicer hotel or from what you might see on the web. From personal experience in other countries, getting it arranged at a nicer hotel or on the web would not make a difference in how good your guide is or your accommodations, as they all do go through the middlemen. But I obviously don't know for sure for Nepal. This might seem like a great deal, this $205 US dollars, but you will see that the hotels they book are actually super cheap. I found out that the first night guest house was only $4 to $5 US dollars. Obviously, that second night guest house was nicer, and I don't know the price on that, but I can't imagine it was going to be so much more. However, compared to the city, the beers and snacks you get, and these aren't included in the price I quoted you, are quite a bit more expensive. I spent an extra 15 to 20 US dollars per night on beers and snacks, but I really got anything I wanted, which was like 2 to 3 beers and several snacks. So it's really not so expensive compared to, if you compare it to American bars and such. There is the expectation at these mountain guest houses that if you are staying at their cheap rooms, you will drink and eat at their restaurant. I talked about the rooms already, and it really depends on your perspective. I mean, these aren't luxury hotels or anything, but if you look at it from the viewpoint that you are backpacking and not having to camp nor carry a tent around, it's really glamping, even if the showers may not be hot and the toilet may not flush. It was really an incredible experience. You can see you are not quite backpacking in the wilderness. There are houses and people all around the mountain and countryside. But that's what makes it more of a cultural experience. And you do see enough of nature and such. I really recommend trips like this. Please like and subscribe to see more in the future. Thank you so much, everyone.